Welcome agents. Recently there was another patch which introduced some changes to NPCs you may not have been aware of, plus one dev has come out to talk about the argument brewing in the community around 515 gear score being locked behind the Dark Zone, and it's good news for PvE players but maybe not solo players. Now there are a few other bits of information I wanted to show you, like the recalibration station and how it works, plus a little bit more. Now if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button below and subscribe for dedicated Division news content. With that said, let's get to it. Okay, so to start off with, there was a maintenance and patch yesterday for the live game which made some pretty big changes, none of which I've tested myself, but I've seen your comments. Now the patch notes were as follows. Fix an issue where players were able to receive unlimited snitch heroic bounties. Fix another issue where players were stuck after being revived while having a DOT state active. Fix other issues relating to players being stuck after revival. Lowered NPC damage and health above normal difficulty. Increased variety of NPCs spawned at higher difficulty levels. Difficulty has been significantly decreased in hard, moderately reduced in challenge, and barely reduced in heroic missions. Fix an issue related to elite NPC aggressiveness in heroic and control point alert level 4s, and reduce the damage output of named bosses. So it's great that the devs are quickly patching the unintentional issues with the game, but to be honest, I didn't expect the hammer to come down on NPCs like they have here, and from what I've seen, this nerf to NPCs is quite substantial. Now this patch has lowered NPC health and lethality on any difficulty above normal, and as the patch notes state, NPCs have been significantly nerfed in hard, moderately in challenging, and barely in heroic. Now I'm not here to offer an opinion on this, guys. I've left a poll on my Twitter page about this very subject which I'd encourage you to vote in, so there will be a link to that in the description. If like me you've always played through missions on normal because hard wasn't worth the extra time, then this will be good news for you. If you've always played on heroic because you're a PvE monster, then you should see any change. You shouldn't see any change here, so I guess with that in mind, everyone's a winner, I think. What I will say before I move on is, who thought named bosses hit too hard? Now this is a genuine question, it's not a rhetorical question or anything. I've only played on heroic mode once and yeah, they hit hard, but they're meant to, so I'm just curious on your opinion. At the end of the day, I don't have access to all the data, so if the community and the data suggests they hit too hard, then that's fine and I'm okay with that. Moving on, and following Wednesday's state of the game, there has been a lot of talk about the changes to high level gear dropping from only the Dark Zone with Title Update 3. Now, if you didn't know what the dev said, here it is.
And then maybe the biggest thing, Ryan, why don't you hit this one? The biggest change we have to the Dark Zone.
Yeah, so we will be dropping items up to gear score 515 in the Dark Zone.
That's insane.
That's pretty cool.
So yeah, we're allowing players to power creep over the max gear score if they go into the Dark Zone.
Right.
And there's no other place in the game that you can get, 515 or anything over 500. So the Dark Zone will be where you go to get that little last ounce of power for other activities.
Okay, so it was pretty obvious following this change that anyone who doesn't enjoy the Dark Zone and PvP was not going to be happy, and this has been making the rounds and certainly one of the hot topics right now. Now, I personally think that there shouldn't be this PvP side and this PvE side. There needs to be, we need to come together basically, and there needs to be a balance between both. So good news for PvE players is that this will not be the only place to get high gear score loot. UbiDev Amber had this to say on the Ubi forums. Hey guys, there was a lot to talk about on the stream today. I want to start off by saying the raid will drop the highest gear score to be announced, not the Dark Zones. As we've been transparent with our thoughts and decisions up until this point, we will continue to do so going forward. While we do experiment with Dark Zone rewards, we're taking everyone's feedback into account. It's still super early and we want to see how the content and looting plays on live. That's not to say things cannot be tweaked. So this post confirms that the highest gear score, or a gear score higher than 15, will be available from the raid once this launches next month with Title Update 3.0. Now I can see why the devs have gone this route, but as a solo player, is this the best move? Will this alienate solo players? Now, I appreciate you can't please everyone, but my proposal will be to allow high gear score loot to drop from heroic missions or level 4 control points. I guess the issue with that would be that groups could farm these for the highest loot in the game, so the devs would have to make sure the raid is worth it, either by upping the amount of quality loot you can get and maybe include raid-only gear. With that said, I think you'd also have to have Dark Zone-only loot to satisfy the PvP players. It's a very fine balancing act, and I do not envy the developers. Again, what do you agents think about the highest loot being only available from the raid? Leave your comments down below. Moving on, and the recalibration changes are now live in the PTS. Now, I've taken some screenshots loaded by Redditor Julio225, which I wanted to show you, so thanks to Julio for these. So the first one here is a good example of what's possible currently on the PTS and just how strong you could possibly make some of this gear. In the live game, this weapon damage stat would have had a maxed capped amount that could be transferred over, but here you can transfer the full amount. Now there's some other examples here as well, and it's worth noting the recalibration score under the gear level. This is marked from 0 to 100 and shows you just how optimized your gear is. So is gear score still useless? Well, the higher the gear score, the higher the attributes can roll, so the more optimized they can be, I believe. Now take this example. This shows that there is still a max cap on attributes. This is a 500 gear score item, but I bet if this was a 515 gear score item, the cap would be increased and the full 11% AR damage, assault rifle damage, would roll onto the gear. That's my guess, but I'm not sure. Next up, and I wanted to briefly talk about the G. Phillips Protocol secret mission. Now this popped up some time ago and has stumped the community since then, but it would appear this has an end result found by Redditor Zinfinian. And now, if you're not sure what this is, there is a very good detailed article from Polygon, and you can find it on Reddit if you wish, which I'll leave in the description below. Now essentially, you meet this character named Jane Applegate in a tunnel. She gives you a mission, which I've heard is really great, by the way, and once you complete that mission, another mission pops up. This mission is called G. Phillips Protocol, and unlike all the other mission indicators, this one is marked with a blue winged sword icon. Now once you arrive, there's a long hallway which leads down some stairs to what looks like a basement, and the icon disappears and the mission ends. Well, it would appear that in the PTS, if you go back to this basement, there is now a small box which contains this film reel backpack trophy. For anyone trying to decipher why the mission ended where it did, sorry to say, but this is the outcome. I thought it was worth sharing for anyone wondering what happened. By now you've probably seen the power of the Nemesis sniper rifle. I've seen reports of damage over 4 million and up to 6 million with this weapon, one-shotting anything in the game. So where does that leave the TAC 50 specialist sniper rifle? Again, I'm not here to offer my opinion as such, but does the TAC 50 need a buff? Now, I'm all for powerful exotics, and it's good to finally see one, but I do worry that the TAC 50 will be left in the dark. I guess this has a much higher RPM and doesn't require you to hold the fire button down like a railgun, but I'm almost certain people will only use the TAC 50 now to get the specialist tree perks for the Nemesis. So I want you guys to let me know, what do you think? Does the TAC 50 need a buff, or is it fine the way it is? In my State of the Game video on Wednesday, I did not include the community work at the end of the stream because the video was already 20 minutes long, so as a way to give back a little to those who do fantastic work for the community, here are the community highlights taken from Wednesday's stream. Enjoy, and epic out.
Perfect. All right, let's take a look at the first agent highlight of the week. What's this one? Ooh, okay, yeah, we got an update from Umbra on the tabletops, the tabletop minis. I might have missed a message. I've been begging to get one of these to paint. I would love to actually live stream some painting of these because I need to kind of up my mini painting skills. But those are super cool. If you want to see more on that, SHD Umbra on Twitch. You guys play any tabletop mini games?
I play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons actually, and depending on the group I run with, sometimes we use minis, sometimes we don't. So I do. I haven't painted one in a long time, so I agree with you. It would be nice to chop up those skills and get them going again. But I do love me some minis.
I don't play any of them, but I paint some of the minis.
Nice.
So kind of the weird one that way. It's so expensive. Good.
All right, up
But
next.
those are beautiful.
What have we got next? Let's take a look. Oh damn. Damn, those
Nice.
those look thick.
I need
Super
those.
heavy. Those obviously the Rogue and Manhunt ones, and also the SHD Phoenix. Theo Pro on Twitter. If you want to go check out more of those, he makes them all by himself.
Wow.
Do
Do we know what the material is?
I don't know. It looks It looks like legit. It's either legit metal. We'll have to find out from TheoPro. But they look to have some weight to them. I don't know. Maybe it's just
really cool.
a good picture, or they're synthetic, like plastic, and they're just treated really well. But they look. I think
very nice.
They look at least very, very close to something heavy. And I think we have one more.
Okay.
We got one more. All right, let's take a look at our. Oh my God, cute! Yeah. Very, very
That's great.
topical.